What's going on, Red Nation, NBA fans, no matter where you are? Welcome to Rockets Daily, brought to you by FanArch. My name is David Delano, and we're here in August, locked in with all the diehards, looking for the NBA latest news going on with the Houston Rockets. A little bit of a down part in the season, but we're going to be talking about the issues that matter to the Rockets, issues that matter to you, and responded to some of the comments today. This show is gonna be mostly about the guard depth for the Houston Rockets. We're gonna talk about I'm not gonna say breaking news, but some new things, just some new things out there pertaining to Fred VanVleet. Also we're gonna talk about Reed Shepard some more, some things that I actually haven't brought up on this show yet, and some things that we have. And also, as far as if the Rockets do need more depth at guard, what are some potential guard options still out there? We're also gonna continue on our history segment as a new era of Rockets basketball began 1983, 1984. Thanks so much for watching. Go ahead, subscribe, like this video, comment, anything that moves you, let me know. And appreciate you being here, whether this is your 40th time here or your first time here. Thanks so much. Let's first get into Fred VanVleet here, who obviously going to be a big, very, very important, be one of the most important players on this Rockets roster. Obviously, it's a whole team, but a lot is going to be expected for Fred to see if he can sustain the same level of play, maybe have a little bit of a bump up from last year, and most importantly, stay healthy. So, kind of looking at the point guards here, there's a article that came out, hoopshype.com. Obviously, all these are opinion based, but pretty interesting. They rated the point guards in the NBA. They rated the top 26 point guards in the NBA to be exact. And this is over on hoopshype.com. Obviously, I'll go through the list very, very quickly. But they had Fred rated as number 17 in the NBA, which, you think about the teams in the NBA, you could say, well, is that high? But obviously, some names, big names at the top. I mean, you've got you got SGA, you got Luca number 2, you got Jalen Brunson number 3. Yeah, he had Cade Cunningham number 4, Steph Curry number 5, and the list goes on. Trae Young number 6. We're gonna bounce down on James Harden number 7. I think that was worth mentioning. John Morant number 8. De'Aaron Fox number 9, and they had Tyrese Maxey number 10. So that was the top 10. You can go ahead and look at the full list on hoopsite.com. But there were some definitely interesting movements here. So Fred VanVleet's number 17 on the list. Some names, notable names right above him: LaMelo Ball number 14, Josh Giddey, who in a restricted free agent situation here with the Bulls, number 15. But I thought what was interesting is right under Fred, Jalen Suggs with Orlando Magic 18, but Kyrie Irving, number 19. And I understand, been some health things going on. Obviously, got to pay. Kyrie Irving's making a lot more money. That's going to be interesting. I don't think I would give the nod to Fred over Kyrie. Although if you look at who might be a better fit with the Rockets team, you look at salary. Thought that was pretty interesting that they rated Fred there. So if you guys do, check out that list. And even if you're not checking out that list, even if you're if you're that type of basketball nerd, which no judgment, I am a basketball nerd. Shout out to all the basketball nerds out there, sports nerds who are watching this right now. Where do you think that Fred is appropriately rated? Maybe underrated, overrated, or whatnot? So you can check that out. Number 17. When I looked at the list, it did seem somewhat fitting, but I would not put him above Kyrie Irving there. So another guy that we're going to talk about, of course, and I said yesterday we'd talk about it, so if you're a little burnt out with the Reed Shepard talk, well, and you're probably not here because Reed Shepard, one of the really biggest names that's being talked about on this Rockets team, because one, he's one of the few guys maybe one of the only guys that's expected to be a contributor on this team that actually played in the summer league. So we got to see him play recently. And also, there's ESPN reports saying that he's the most intriguing sophomore to watch coming into next season. A lot of hype on social media, different things as far as when you look at what there is to talk about with basketball right now. And we talked about Fred. If Fred takes any bit of a step back, if you're talking about winning the NBA championship, you're talking about overcoming the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's going to be extremely, extremely important to see what Reed Sheppard can do. Now, one thing that I wanted to pull up here, and this is something that I'll be doing during the season, is kind of looking at some of these, betting lines, betting projections, and whether you're into sports betting or not. One thing that's interesting about it is it does allow you, at the very least, right, to see some objective lines, set according to the odds makers, and you can decide how you feel about those. So we're looking at Reed Sheppard here. A couple different things, looking at Reed as far as odds according to, we're going to look at FanDuel here. There's odds for Reed to be 6th man of the year and for most improved player. And if you're thinking that Reed is going to take a step up, you may want to take a look at these if you're in a state with legal wagering. And if you're in Houston, if you ever make that trip down to Lake Charles or anywhere, you can check out with FanDuel right now. They've got Reed Sheppard's odds at plus for the 6th man of the year award on FanDuel right now. They have his odds at plus 10,000 for 6th man of the year and for most improved player. We could go through the different books, and basically what that means is I think that obviously both of these are extreme long shots. The odds makers are telling you that they are extreme long shots. But basically what that means to you guys, you see odds of a plus 10,000 like that. If you were to place a $1 wager on Reed Sheppard right now, at least at the moment on FanDuel, to get most improved player or 6th man of the year, you could get a $100 profit on that. So somebody that obviously is a very, very big long shot at the moment. But instead of going through the whole list, just to keep this from a Rockets perspective here, and we've talked about this before recently, but I'll bring it up again, that the best odds, if you're really looking at this from a Rockets perspective, Amen Thompson, who is going to be plus 1,700, which basically means a $1 wager would profit you $17. So Thompson is actually tied for 3rd right now in the NBA for the odds for the most improved player award, and you've got a very, very, very distant there. There's a lot of guys ahead of Reed Sheppard on the list. You've actually got Jabari Smith ahead of Reed Sheppard as well. Well, actually, Jabari Smith, I apologize, is going to be tied. Now, these are for the odds of most improved awards. So Jabari actually plus 10,000 along with Reed Sheppard, and Amen is plus 17. Amen is plus 1,700, and man, we've got we got plus 35,000 for Tari Eason. Honestly, this is something I'm scrolling on before. I mean, I looked at this before, researched this before, but I actually had no intention of even bringing up the odds of Tari Eason on there. But wow, that's actually pretty interesting. Those odds on Tari Eason there, because that means a $1 wager can profit you $350. Tari Eason, most improved player. Maybe that's saying the odds makers just don't think that he's going to play a whole lot. This might be something to go ahead and revisit a little bit later. I don't know. I might take a flyer. On that one personally. Now, also one thing that we've talked about, and shout out in the comments as far as talking about, okay, if Reed Sheppard does not work out, Fred needs some help, or even if Fred, God forbid, just doesn't perform as we're expecting, or if he, whatever happens in that regard like that, Who are some potential options out there for the Rockets if we have to look for some guard depth in the middle of the season? A lot of these are going to be names that we've talked about, maybe some that we haven't discussed. Obviously, Malcolm Brogdon is somebody who's still out there, 32 years old, unsigned. Rockets passed up on him. There's been rumors and talk about Brogdon now coming to the Rockets for the last 2 years, as far as in the blogs and just on the circuit. What are some of the downsides of Brogdon? Why is Brogdon not signed? I mean, this is a guy, he's been in the NBA 9 years, played for five teams in 9 years. Just under 39% three-point shooter for his career. Now, he is coming off of a career worst 28.6% three-point percentage season, but only attempted 56 threes, a career low. Only played 24 games, which I think is also one of the downsides with Brogdon right now. He's been on 4 teams now in the last 4 seasons, and he's only played more than 40 games one time in the last 4 seasons. Veteran, except for last year, and that was a small sample size. He shot the ball well, solid defender, but maybe health at this point, and it's not just the Rockets. There's Brogdon is still out there. Malik Beasley, I don't see that happening, and I understand right now. I'm not going to pretend to just be the MIT salary cap guru. I understand that the Rockets would need to make some other moves to get flexible. We're not really saying that this is something that's going to happen overnight. I mentioned Jeff Green yesterday. The options the Rockets could have with his salary. Although we do want Jeff here. No disrespect to Jeff. But just there would have to be some moves made. But these are guys that if the Rockets really, really wanted them bad enough, not necessarily saying it should happen, but these are guys that if the Rockets really wanted them, they should be able to obtain them. So Malik Beasley, I don't see that happening. I know the price has gone way down, but looks like he's given gambling, allegedly, right? I don't see that happening. He's somebody that I was high on really early in the free agency period, but that was even before the Dorian Finney-Smith signing. A lot has happened since then. Alec Burks, somebody I've talked about, 34 years old, 10.6 points per game in 791 career games. He shot 42.5% from 3 for the Miami Heat last season. Averaged more than 7 points a game in just over 17 minutes. Excellent 3-point shooter. Below average defender at this point in his career, but smart player, someone within the right team structure. Could give you a few minutes. We talked about, obviously, everybody knows about Steph Curry. Seth Curry, somebody I brought up. I don't think that he's really going to fit with his age. And when you look at what the Rockets are looking to do, the defensive identity on this team, even though he did lead the NBA in 3-point shooting percentage last year, I don't see that happening. Josh Giddey, that's, the Bulls wonder what's going on with his contract. Although just way too much money to obviously help the team, but way too much money. And Quentin Grimes, somebody I mentioned in a dream situation, that would be nice, but also probably too much. Well, not even too much money right now that the Rockets are going to be able to fork up. But that's going to be something also to think about going forward. I mean, with some of these restricted free agents, Cam Thomas and, Giddey and Grimes, as far as if they could go to one of our rivals and how that could affect the landscape if something like that happens. But, those are all some different guard options. Obviously, Russell Westbrook, someone that a name starting to be attached to the Sacramento Kings. I don't think that he's coming back to Houston. If the Rockets were interested in that happening, I'm pretty sure that would have happened already. Sorry about that. Let's see here. So let's get ready to move off of the guard options. I think J.D. Davison, someone is going to be worth keeping an eye on. With the Rockets signing him, we mentioned 3 years with the Celtics, didn't get to play a whole lot, but a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. And MVP in the G League. Not the greatest shooter, but very highly efficient at getting assists and scoring at the G League level. Someone that's at least should improve the competition, I think, and be able to push Reed, Shepard, and Camp. Now let's go ahead and get into our history segment. There's really nothing new under the sun, man. One reason I like history so much. It's so much you can learn just from human nature and how things go. There's really nothing new, even when they seem new. And tanking is nothing new. In that 82-83 season, that's completely what it was. The Rockets didn't want to pay Moses Malone. They let him go, traded him to Philadelphia. In a sign and trade, Rockets tanked because they wanted to get the number one pick. They wanted to get Ralph Sampson. And that successfully worked. The Rockets went 14-68 in the 82-83 season. And worked out for the 76ers because they won a world championship with Moses Malone, who really, arguably, up there was the greatest ever as far as when it comes to impact that he made on every team that he was on. Hung around, the last 4 or 5 years of his career. Hurt some of his career numbers as he was hanging along. But Moses Malone, a dominant force that doesn't often get the respect that I think he deserves just as time goes by. But another guy that, respectfully, sometimes people look at history and call him a bust, but I would not say this. Career is a little cut short, obviously, with injuries. But starting off, the Rockets, they tanked, and they were able to acquire Ralph Sampson in the 1983 draft out of Virginia, and it was a great move as he won Rookie of the Year, came in as his first year, averaging 21 points per game and 11.1 rebounds. Rockets that season improved from 14-68 to 29-53. Del Harris didn't survive that 14-68 season. You had Bill Finch, who came over. And what does that mean? Well, Bill Finch, a successful career coaching the Cleveland Cavaliers and Boston Celtics. A few days ago, we talked about that 1980-81 championship that the Rockets lost to the Celtics. Well, Bill Finch was a coach for the Celtics in that game, in that season, in that finals. But he resigned, had some disagreements, seeing eye to eye with ownership. And Bill Finch resigned and came over to the Houston Rockets. So with Ralph Sampson as the new cornerstone franchise piece and behind his leadership, Hall of Fame coach Bill Finch, Rockets win 29-53 in the beginning of a new era. Rodney McCray was the number 3 pick overall on the Rockets. Rockets also added Craig Elo later in that draft, who was going to be more known for his contributions with some other teams, including obviously Jordan hitting that shot against him when he played for the Cleveland Cavaliers. But all of this setting up things for the future, days that are going to be more maybe rememberable, setting up the Olajuwon era. It's coming. It's coming. Thanks so much for watching Rockets Daily. Keep those comments coming. Let me know what other topics you'd want to talk about. If there's any of these with the guards, anything that we talked about, even the betting odds that you want to dive deeper into, welcoming all topics here in August. Thanks so much for watching. Go ahead and subscribe. We appreciate it. If you like this show, if you think you may like it during the season, go ahead and subscribe. Stay locked in. You can also follow me on X at Get Sports Strong. I make weekly national TV and XM radio appearances, so I'll be posting where you can find me on those if they're interested. Talking about football, baseball, and all that other stuff too on other platforms. But here, it's all about the Rockets. Thanks so much for watching. Be safe out there. I'm going to get out of here. God bless.